What's wrong? You broke contact.
Contact? I didn't touch you yet.
But I thought you wanted to make love.
Is that what you call this?
First sex has been proven to produce higher orders of alpha waves during digitized transference of sexual energies.
All right, Huxley, what do you say we just do it the old-fashioned way?
Ew, disgusting. You mean fluid transfer?
I mean, boning, the wild mambo, the hunka-chunka.
That is no longer done. The exchange of bodily fluids, do you know what that leads to?
Yeah, I do. Kids, smoking, a desire to raid the fridge.
The rampant exchange of bodily fluids was one of the major reasons for the downfall of society. After AIDS, there was NRS. After NRS, there was UBT. And one of the first things that Dr. Cocteau was able to do was to outlaw and behaviorally engineer all fluid transfer out of societally acceptable behavior. Not even mouth transfer is condoned.
Kissing's not allowed? Oh. Damn, I was a good kisser.
Hey, Shalom, brothers. This is Brother Howard of GMS Toronto coming back with another one. I was reading this article. You know what? Let me just get the article right away. This is Meet Lexi Love, AI model that receives 20 proposals per month. This is virtual love, which is why I just played that scene. And it's a great scene, actually. I'm going to go back to that scene because it proves that this was all socially engineered, right? Because that's what she said at the end. She's like, Dr. So-and-so, socially engineered behavior. And that's what's being done today in this society, in this sick, demonic, Luciferian society. You people are being socially engineered without even knowing it. You think that this is normal human behavior now. Why? Because it has been it's been socially engineered. So it says, synopsis, a Foxy AI spokesperson said that admirers have contacted the company and begged to meet Lexi Love. She is so good at chatting with her fans that some men are said to be convinced she is real. It can earn $30,000 and it receives 20 proposals a month. I need to let that breathe for a little bit. We need to take that in because this is an embarrassment to human interaction of today. This is an embarrassment to you women, you modern women that think that you are better than somebody, that think that you are, what do you call it? You're upgrading, or, you know, like, oh, you guys are living in the past. No, a lot of you women are being socially engineered out of society. Right? That's why they keep talking about this gender, that gender, because you, quote unquote, women, you who are actual women that the Most High created, that God created, the society doesn't care about you no more. You were just used for a purpose during the time of feminism. You were used to create confusion, and you were used to destroy the home. And you were used to join the work environment, so that you can be taxed. Because when you women were at home, you weren't being taxed. Only the men were being taxed. So the international bankers came up with a plan or a plot to integrate women into society via working. Right? Talking about women's rights and all of that type of stuff. It was literally just to tax you. It wasn't for your betterment. And how do we know that it wasn't for your betterment? All you got to do is look at society right now, where a sex bot is making $30,000 a month. You women ain't making that. You women are not making $30,000. You women have to go to your jobs, and you women are complaining about your jobs, right? Me and a lot of the brothers have done videos on how you women are actually in worse condition that you've ever been in the history of mankind. And when we say you women, we're talking about you modern Western women, right? You take antidepressants, you have become alcoholics, right? You have become drug abusers, and you've become sex abusers, right? Which is why I'm going to play that video again, because Sandra Bullock in that movie Demolition Man was talking about the rampant exchange of bodily fluids. That's called promiscuousness, right? There's nothing wrong with bodily exchange of fluids if a man is transferring that fluid between him and his wife or his wives, and then if a woman only lays with one man, right, then that is controlled. What is not controlled in the society is that you women are laying with 100 men. You men are laying with men. You're laying with women. Sometimes you're laying with animals. In this society has become so chaotic, right, that you don't know what a person is doing. So it is not controlled. It's not by the law of the Most High. This is Hebrews chapter 13 and 4. It says, marriage is an honorable in all. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, right? But the majority of people's beds nowadays is defiled. Your bed is defiled from you first meet the woman, especially if that woman is not a virgin, right? I've done many videos on that. And that is the reason for all of these different diseases. Now, I will say, don't get it twisted. There are diseases that have been manufactured. That's all I'm going to say, right? I don't want to go into it now because YouTube is very fickle when it comes to certain things that you say. But there are certain things that have been done by man, right? Man created. This is Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Okay? And how do you become one flesh? Through sex, through intercourse, right? And also by children, right? That's how two flesh become one. You create a child, right? But how do you create a child? You create a child through sex, right? So sexual intercourse, there's nothing wrong with sexual intercourse, but what type of sexual intercourse are you having, right? Because in this society, we promote promiscuity, right? We promote boyfriend and girlfriend. The Most High doesn't know what that is. He doesn't believe in boyfriend and girlfriend. Once a woman loses her virginity, she is supposed to be bound to that man forever. Simple and plain. Now, this is back to the article. It says, Lexi Love makes deep emotional relationship with men. And you see, it already starts off crazy, because the reason why she can make, or it, right? The article's right, it. The reason why Lexi Love can create deep emotional relationships with men is because the relationships between men and women today have been broken, right? And they first tried this with a man by the name of Weizenbaum, Joseph Weizenbaum. And he created a chat bot by the name of Eliza, which actually, that name in the Hebrew means pledge to God, right? So just to show you how demonic this society is. And that guy, Weizenbaum, he was obviously a German. I never looked deep into his history to see if he's a German Jew, but I know that he's German. And when you go into the scriptures, it goes into Eutemanites, right? And Eutemanites are actually very intelligent, right? And it's funny because the majority of the German scientists that are in the world, or that went into the world after the war, half of them went to America and half of them went to Russia, and they continued all of their experiments in America. For example, the Project Bluebird, which is known as MK Ultra, which is mind control, right? And they used flashing lights. They used degenerate sexual rituals and different acts, such as pedophilia, through a guy by the name of what's that devil's name, man? Alfred Kinsey, right, from the Kinseyan Institute. My elder, the elder of GMS Toronto, he did a great lesson on Kinsey. History of Yiquab. History of Yiquab did a great lesson on Alfred Kinsey. Yeah, I just lost the train of my thought. But yes, in 1966, this guy Joseph Weizenbaum, he created the first chatbot. Right? Today we have all types of chatbots. Okay, even the ones that we have on our phone today. Okay, and then even now, the majority of the phones that are being created now in 2024, I think it started with the Samsung. They're coming out with the AI technology to where you're going to actually be able to communicate more in depthly with the AI, right? I don't know how far they're going to bring it, but these different chatbots like Siri or Hey Google or whatever are all throughout the world now. But this all started in 1966, which is still a representation of 666, right? Because you have the 2 6s at the end, and then the 9 in as above, so below, right, can still transfer into 6. The 9 is a representation of the 6, right? If you know anything about as above, so below. And he used something known as talk therapy, right? And that's why when it says Lexi Love makes deep emotional relationships with men, that's what that chatbot Eliza did all the way back then in 1966, right? That's something known as talk therapy, right? So users would feel comfortable and open up like a therapy session, right? So instead of feeling like you were talking to a robot, it felt therapeutic. With the lost connection between man and woman and vice versa, the lost connection between man and a higher power, even though God said to turn to him, you know what, let's get a scripture. This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 22. And it says, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. So that's exactly what we have to do. We have to turn to the Most High. You're not supposed to turn to a chat bot. You're not supposed to turn to a sex doll or whatever it is. You're supposed to turn to the Most High. But because this society has broken those connections between man and woman, right? Between man and a higher power, that these scriptures or this way of living no longer applies. So when the Most High created Eve, and she was created to be a perfect fit to Adam, or AKA man, right? Because the woman was created to be a perfect fit to a man's life, not a competition. So in this society, women are now competitors, right? Because human interactions and connections is a very real thing, right? And it's a very real need. This society has broken culture so much. They have socially engineered it so much that really and truly there's no sense of purpose through gender roles. And that's why today people find solace in things like drugs on every single corner. I live here in Toronto. On every single corner, you either have a weed shop, you have a fast food joint, which is another drug, or you have the LCBO, which is another drug, right? It's so crazy because that is actually my business. I'm in the business of selling alcohol, but guess what? In this society, it's a great business. It's a great business because people are addicted to the thing. There's nothing wrong with having alcohol. The scriptures tells you, it talks about wine. It talks about strong drink. Not the Heavenly Father, his son, the Savior, Yahushua, he drank. He drank. So there's nothing wrong with alcohol, but this is the abuse of alcohol. But a lot of people have turned to the solace of these things. That's their best friend, right? Drugs, a lot of men. And guess what? I think these women are competing with you men now when it comes to marijuana. These women smoke marijuana like it's going out of style. And you know why? It's because that disconnection, right? And they turn to alcohol, right? They always want wine and sex, right? Sex is abused in this society. Sex is for a purpose, and really it's for that deep emotional connection. It really is. But sex in this society is now abused. We abuse ourselves through sex to where after you are finished having sex, the majority of you people feel used, right? You women feel used because you found out that, hey, that man that was maybe wooing you, talking sweet to you after he got the kitty, he's gone. Or a lot of you men, you're talking to these women and you feel like, yo, man, this woman, I want to make her my wife. And she might rob you. You know, Lil Wayne did a song, and that was one of my favorite songs in the world. It was called Mona Lisa, and that's a great track. But it just shows you how people can use deep connection to manipulate people, right? And what's that new one today? And now we have the AI, and this is your new addiction. And I don't know what people are so shocked about. The majority of people are addicted to their cell phones. You trust your phone. You trust your phone with information. You protect your phone. Have you ever been a man in a relationship and you try to reach for your woman's phone? Have you ever seen how she protects that phone? Right? So these people are addicted to their phones. Right? You can't live your life without it. You have sex with it. The majority of people have sex with it by watching porn, right? Or you might have something known as phone sex. 50 Cent and Justin Timberlake did a sick song on that digital kind of love. Right? The song is called Ayo Technology. Let me read a part of it. It says, baby, you're so new age. You like my new craze. Let's get together. Maybe we can start a new phase. The smoke's got the club all hazy. Spotlights don't do you justice, baby. Why don't you come over here? You got me saying, hey, yo, I'm tired of using technology. Why don't you sit down on top of me? Hey, yo, I'm tired of using technology. And it's true, man. Because in this society, they're promoting technology. They're not promoting human interactions anymore. Right? So your phone is your lover. Like straight up. The phone is the lover. A lot of these women, they'll tell you straight up, oh, I feel more safe communicating by WhatsApp or by Instagram. I feel more safe. Like, what? What are you talking about? Like, who told you that all men are serial killers? Like, nobody wants to kill you. The only thing we want to kill is your vagina. Like, Oh my gosh. But no, for real, the phone is the new lover in this society. Okay? And then the progress, you know what? Let's go back to the article. So it says, Lexi Love makes deep emotional relationships with men. It can earn 30,000 and it receives 20 proposals a month. But Lexi Love is not human. Is not a human being. She is an AI developed by a company called Foxy AI. It has been portrayed as a young woman with blonde hair, blue eyes, and very toned body. Its creator has said that the AI model can send texts, voice messages, even photos on request. It can make 30,000 a month. It means the model can earn a staggering 360,000 a year. Oh my gosh. That's why I said that this is embarrassing to the modern day woman. It is embarrassing to you women that say, I don't need no man. Right? This is completely embarrassing. Completely embarrassing. Because going back to therapy, progress in a therapeutic session or relationship cannot be made unless the client feels safe to speak their mind or safe in the environment. In this society, we have lost trust for one another through deculturalization and all these different Marxist ideologies or agendas such as feminism, right? Humans have a way of projecting emotions by the way you make them feel. So it's easy to manipulate that by giving whatever is lacking, right? So whatever is lacking, like let's say you meet a woman and she feels like people don't listen to her. All you got to do is be a great listener. You know what's going to happen? She's going to fall in love, right? And that's how people grow attachments with AI. It's called the Eliza effect, right? It goes back to that chatbot Eliza. And there's actually a movie that I would suggest that brothers watch if they never watch it. It's called Her, Her, and it depicts the relationship perfectly between man and AI, right? Today you have a company named Replica, and it has over 2 million users in relationships with AI. Over 2 million. That's embarrassing, man. That's how disconnected we are in this society.
What's wrong? He broke contact.
Contact? I didn't even touch it yet.
But I thought you wanted to make love.
Is that what you call this?
First sex has been proven to produce higher orders of alpha waves during digitized transference of sexual energies.
All right, Oxley, what do you say we just do it the old-fashioned way?
Ew, disgusting. You mean fluid transfer?
She said fluid transfer? You damn right, fluid transfer. Fluid transfer is the way that the Most High made it, right? The Most High created us to transfer fluids. There's nothing wrong with that. What do you mean fluid transfer? Look at the way that we were born. We were born in fluids, right? We were born in fluids. We were born in blood, right? We were born in piss, all that kind of stuff as a fetus. Okay, so what do you mean fluid transfer? Yes, fluid transfer. There's nothing wrong with fluid transfer at all. The only time fluid transfer becomes ill, right, or disgusting is when you have a man who sleeps with another man's woman, or a woman that sleeps with another man other than the man that took her virginity. That's when fluid transfer becomes disgusting. All right, you have something known as microchimerism. And microchimerism is where the DNA of a man stays inside of a woman for up to 7 years. But if a man impregnates a woman, his DNA lives inside of her for the rest of her life.
Bodie, the wild mambo, the hunka chunka.
It is no longer done. The exchange of bodily fluids, do you know what that leads to?
Yeah, I do. Kids, smoking, a desire to raid the fridge.
The rampant exchange of bodily fluids was one of the major reasons for the downfall of society.
And I agree with her.
After AIDS,
I'm sorry, and I agree with her. Not with AIDS, not with AIDS, because that's what I'm saying. That's something I'm not even going to go into about the AIDS, right? Where it came from, and I'm not going to get into that, right? YouTube is very finicky when it comes to certain things that you say, and because I'm not a quote unquote doctor in this society, I can't say certain things. This is just my opinion. Right? I use the Bible as my reference, as my source for my knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But I agree with her because the rampant exchange of bodily fluids is causing a downfall in society because we're not supposed to live in like this according to the Most High. We're not. We're not. A lot of the ways that we are now interacting with each other sexually is completely against the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, right? We're committing adultery, right? This is Matthew chapter 16:4. It says, a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign. So what time are we living in? We're living in a time of a wicked and adulterous generation, right? And that's what this society is. It represents a wicked and adulterous generation, and we promote adultery to the masses.
after AIDS, there was NRS. After NRS, there was UBT. And one of the first things that Dr. Cocteau was able to do was to outlaw and behaviorally engineer all fluid transfer out of...
Did you hear what she said? Behaviorally engineer society. And that's what's been happening in real life. In real life. That's exactly what they were doing. What happened 2 years ago when the whole globe went on pause? The whole world went on pause. What happened 2 years ago? How did it destroy relationship? How many marriages ended? How many relationships came to an end 2 years ago because people found that they actually don't connect, they actually don't bond? How many? And then how many people turn to alcohol or to drugs or to whatever that they turn to? You women turn to what do you call it? Dildos and all of that type of stuff. Right? You women love to say, oh, how perverted men are, or how sexual men are. There is no one on the planet more sexual than a woman. Nobody on the planet is more sexual than a woman. A woman was created with a clitoris. A clitoris is simply made for pleasure. Simply made for pleasure. You're the only creature that has one. You have that. Men, we don't have that.
Societally acceptable behavior. Not even mouth transfer is condoned.
Kissing's not allowed?
Man is stressed. Man said kissing is not allowed. But guess what? We are now starting to outlaw those things because remember, 2 years ago, those things were outlawed. Okay? Even if you had a quote unquote girlfriend, remember when the world was on pause, you weren't allowed to go over to the house. You weren't allowed to kiss. They said that if you wanted to have sex, you can have sex through a hole. Okay? Now, this was a or a pamphlet or a go-to for the for New York Health Department during that time, during the time of well, you see it right there. I don't even want to say it. It says how to follow precautions. 1 second. It says, before you hook up, talk about vaccination status. If you or your partner is fully vaccinated, you are lower at risk. Recent COVID-19 testing is positive. If positive, avoid sex and close contact. In negative, keep in mind a test only shows if a person may have been infected when they were tested. Recent COVID-19 infection. Someone who had COVID-19 is unlikely to get it again within 3 months. Recent COVID-19 exposure. Close contact with others should be avoided for 10 days after an exposure. COVID-19 precautions. Being intimate with people who wear a face mask and follow COVID-19 precautions is a safer way to go. Play safer. It says, how do I go up? It says, avoid sex parties and large gatherings. If you do attend, follow COVID-19 precautions. Limit your sex partners to people in your social bubble, right? Which is completely going off. It should say limit your sex partners to wives, limit your sex partners to your husband. That's it. It says, enjoy sex virtually, such as video dates, sexting, sexy Zoom parties, or chat rooms. It says, avoid kissing anyone who is not in your social bubble. So you see, brothers, this society has been socially engineered. And a lot of these movies are a representation of predictive programming. It's a foreshadowing of what's to come. And all we're seeing, right? And yeah, no pun intended, what's to come. And what's happening in this society to the majority of these people is that they're being told what to do without being told what to do. That's it. So they feel like they're making their own decisions. They don't understand what righteousness is because they don't know the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So they just go with whatever's being told to them or whatever's being pushed to them in TV, movies, radio, social media, right? Through their government. And that's how we end up here. And I'm going to end the lesson with Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 3. Why is it doing that, man? And it says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that can be hid that... Why is it skipping like that? Stop playing around, man. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and has gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches. All right, and that's going into you so-called white people, mainly you elites, you international bankers, you super rich. You have broken this society just so you can get rich off of this society. And one aspect of this society that you have broken is relationships. All right, and we're now witnessing that. It has now come to fruition. Right. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and elder apostles of GMS that rule well and that teach well. And to you brothers on the four corners of the earth doing this work in truth and sincerity. Shalom. Till next time. Kwame Yasharallah.